Wow, Mrs. Ryan.
What'd you do?
What do you think? What happened to the studio?
It's empty.
Yeah, it is. Holy cow. It really is. That's crazy pants.
So weird.
How does it feel?
Very, very weird, and reminds me I need to ask you a question about the books.
Oh, all right. Let's go do the show from the kitchen, shall we?
Cool.
Seems to be the move. Let's see. Yeah, I think this will be all right. Actually, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bear with us, everybody.
Oh, I'm spinning.
It's a little bit different than usual. How's that? Let's see. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
It's not. Yeah, it's. Can I make one? Hang on. Let me just see if I can find the best light. Hang on.
Okay.
Come with.
All right.
Just in case we find some better light.
I'm sure there's something. Here. Where's Ray Schaefer when you need him?
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Oh, hi, Kate. Hi, Kate. Producer
Hi,
Kate.
Kate.
We are in the living room. It's all torn apart. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty good there. Oh, no. Oh, there you go. You found some light.
Yeah.
What'd you do, Mrs. Ryan?
Well, I figured I'd use what we have.
I'm coming. There's nobody here to hurry me up anymore. Oh, good grief. Hi. Is everything on? Everything's a little different, and I'm way out of practice. Are we back? I think we're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name's Jay Ryan. I'm in the Late Night Playset, and I'm very happy that you're here as well. I see some people joining on YouTube, maybe Facebook. Forgot my glasses in the other room. No. Whatever. It's not a real show. All right. I kind of explained in the introduction that we did one of these Limbo shows once before when Nicole was still here, and the Letterman stuff was all new, and we knew the show was going to change, but we didn't know how. And that's where I've been finding myself lately. People continue to ask, is the podcast coming back? Are you still going to do the podcast? Meaning without Nicole. And I haven't really known the answer to that question. So I think the purpose of this show tonight may be to figure out the answer to that question. And I don't know the answer myself. I'm going to need your help. Because there's no reason for me to keep doing it for me. I think there was probably a time when the Ryans were doing this for them, individually and together as an entity. And there was a time we didn't give a shit what you thought of it because we were doing it for us. But the truth is, now that she's gone, I care a great deal what you think about it and what you want and what you need out of a show like this. With somebody like me behind the helm. And I'm working on my ums and my uhs. They come out a lot. But it's been on my mind a lot, and I keep procrastinating coming in here and doing a show because I don't know what the show is going to be. And that's hard for me. It's like going up on stage, without a set, without some jokes. You're like just going to stand there and talk into the mic until something gets funny. It's similar. I'm not probably trying to be funny. Maybe I am. I don't know. We'll see. I probably try. I'm trying to be funny. I used to try to be funny for Nicole, but I was funny to Nicole without trying to be, and that was the gift of us together. It's one of the reasons I miss her so much. Boy, this is really more of a real world confessional show, isn't it? More than anything else. I thought I'd kind of, whatever. I will say this: it's really nice to be back with you. It's really nice to be back sitting here at the desk and talking to you through the lens. I see the comments are loading up here on the thing. I will we'll get to them. Let's say I was going to say 5:30, but that is a long way away. It's 5:06 p.m. right now. I should say this. Good afternoon, good evening, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. And if you are here watching in Los Angeles, there is quite a bit of stuff going on in our local world. Los Angeles is on fire right now. We've got some pretty intense Santa Ana winds, which they predicted. There were some watches, some warnings, some advisories. And then around 10:30 this morning, a small brush fire broke out in the Pacific Palisades. And the Pacific Palisades is basically, if you don't know, Los Angeles, situated between Santa Monica and Malibu. It's right on the coast. And goes inland quite a bit to say, I don't know how far, but when you're playing the video game Grand Theft Auto, it's almost to the Getty. And it's a big deal. There are the entire area is under mandatory evacuation. Homes are burning, cars are burning. It's a pretty intense situation here in Los Angeles. So if you're tuning into my bullshit, I'm grateful when there's so much serious enough stuff going on. So I've got it on in the other room over there. So it's possible that I may bring some stuff up from time to time. Whoopsie-daisy. Yep. Been working on camera angles too. So the intention would be to have guests again, not just have me blather into the camera for an hour. But the intention in the future, if this show continues, would be to have guests. And I have, without changing the set at all yet, we have reconfigured quite a few things in here. All of the technicals. The main set has moved a couple inches, not enough that any of you. Whoa, look! And we added a Skycam. Hello, Skycam. Not enough that you would notice any difference, but it should be a little better for having people in here. I'm getting distracted in here by my own self. Okay, so here's what I think we're going to talk about tonight. It's the fire show. I mentioned that Pacific Palisades is burning as we speak. It started, like I said, as a small vegetation fire, and it is now over 1,200 acres, threatens 10,000 homes. Over 30,000 people are mandatory evacuated currently. The whole area is closed, too. If you're trying to get into that area, don't. Stay away. Stay away. They're literally bulldozing. This is not a joke. I'd never seen this before. Because of the intensity of the situation, and apparently everyone leaving at once maybe caused a bit of a gridlock where everyone who was trying to evacuate, all the cars were just stopped and they weren't moving, and the fire embers were coming and starting to catch other cars on fire and stuff. So people left their cars. They just grabbed their stuff, went on foot, and left. That's wonderful for the survival of the people, but it left roads completely blocked by cars. And what they had to do is come in and bulldoze them out of the way. And the news showed some of the damage from that. It was obviously catastrophic. All of those cars are totaled now. It was pretty intense, but they needed to get the fire rigs up the mountain, the hillside in the Palisades where they were. So it was crazy. I'd never seen that before, but don't go over there if you don't have to. Don't go over there. Everything that's shown on the news is looking worse now because it's nighttime. So, all of the fire and everything looks more intense. Good grief. All right. I'm sorry. Nicole used to keep me on track. I'll run forever if you let me. And also, I don't know about producer Mike. He may join us later. He may not. I don't know. None of this was really planned. It was sort of like, as I said before, I kept procrastinating, so it became, forgive the expression, shit or get off the pot time. That's why we're here, not quite ready for prime time. So what do I want to talk about? All right, Nicole, obviously. It's been 5 months. I don't even know what to say about that. My brain, my body, my physiology does not know how to feel about any of that. She still doesn't feel gone to me. She still feels here. I still feel her energy. I still feel her helping me to make decisions. I still feel her helping align things in my life. Yeah, it's a very, very strange one. 5 freaking months. April 1st she died. August 1st. God damn it. August 1st. Unbelievable. We'll be talking about Newcombs and some of the sponsorships that I want to thank everybody for sponsoring, contributing. We'll talk about the road trip, not in great length or detail, but where I went and how it went. And Yellow Car, how Yellow Car has been doing before, during, and since the big USA Grand Tour road trip, sponsored by Porsche Santa Clarita, by the way. We'll be getting to that in a little bit. And what's next with this show? I guess we opened with that, but I need your help. Because other than the celebrity or interesting person interview, I had a lot of segments that I would do with Nicole that were really fun, but without her, they're dumb. We need new stuff. She even towards the end when she didn't talk as much, she brought so much to this show. I know I don't have to tell you. I guess I want you to. I'm acknowledging that I know it. She just brought so much to this, and if I can't figure out some way to both stimulate you, the viewer, most importantly, and then a very close second is me, and those may alternate in their importance. I don't know why we would do it. So what's next, and how can you help? And then this is another one that's been asked a lot, and it's sort of my fault for not acknowledging it sooner. I've put some social media stuff out, but it's not like it went into the trades or anything when Nicole passed or what the plans were. So will there be a Nicole Shabbat Ryan memorial? Yes, there absolutely will be, and I can give you a loose idea on what that'll be at the end of the show. The details are obviously still being worked out. It's an endeavor. And that's what's going on. So let's see. Let's go to oh gosh, there's some comments here. Let's see. Let's do a couple of these. Tara Kelly. Hello, Tara Kelly. How are you? MB67. Hello, MB67. And then if these are all YouTube, it looks like. Hello, Dan McGinnis. Uber Yo-Yo on Instagram. And then in a few minutes we'll switch to we have this new we're trying new things. All of the equipment has been moved around. We have this new Instagram camera over here too, so I think I'll be able to dial up a live, and then maybe we can talk to people that way too. Okay, so Dan McGinnis, hey, Sire Cloud, love from Kauai, aloha nui loa. That is awesome. If you don't know, Nicole and I got married on Kauai. Kauai is very, very special to us. It's the first place we ever traveled together, only a few months into our relationship. We met at the end of May, literally the last day of May 31st. So basically our relationship started in June, and we traveled to Hawaii together. She was already going on a girls' trip, but it happened to be over my birthday in September, which I used to go to Kauai every birthday anyway, so it was a crazy coincidence. The rest is history. So big love for the Garden Isle of Kauai. I am getting distracted by the fire, though. I'm going to have to change the channel over there. I keep looking. It's a lot. Oh, sorry, Sire Cloud. There you go. Patrick Brass, I hope you continue to do the show for yourself. Well, what do I get out of it? What do I need? You know what I mean? I don't know what. I think let me finish your comment here. Please continue to do the show for yourself. You and all that watch and participate are better for it. Well, that is a very sweet thought. At one time, I agreed with the first part. that it was better for me. In fact, I used to give this advice to people: if you're not sure what's going on with your life, or if you're in the middle of a figure it out type of transition, I highly recommend starting a podcast of any kind. And you don't even need to put it out. The reason for me was it was a great service to me as a person to see myself on video, to see how I was. Nicole and I used to talk about this a lot because we both felt this way about each other and ourselves. It gives you a mirror that shy of your partner you don't often get to see, and sometimes you like it and sometimes you don't. But either way, you often want to make changes in yourself. And or at the very least, you get to know yourself. How's that? Even if you don't want to make changes, you get to know yourself. I wanted to make some changes. It's personal. But then you do, 500 shows. This is 584 right now, if you count all the iterations of what this thing has been, from Life with the Ryans to It's Tonight Show to this. At some point, you've figured it out. I mean, obviously, you're always evolving, but I think you'll go nuts if you spend 10 years on trying to whatever. Point being, I don't think that is a motivational factor for me anymore, though I definitely acknowledge that it was at one point. If others are actually getting something out of this, like you say here so kindly, Patrick Braz, which that would be the best case scenario, that other people are better for it. I love it. I love it. I'll do it forever if that's the case. I guess that was Nicole's thing. I mean, I don't know how far to back up here. Do you know why this show exists in the first place? Just like Breakfast Club, this show exists because Nicole got sick. She got sick. She couldn't do her Hollywood life anymore, where she used to mingle in all the green rooms and all the shows and with all the celebrity friends and all her old colleagues in PR and all of that stuff. She was not in Hollywood anymore. So we made this mini fake pseudo Hollywood for her to be able to still live that life in a weird way. She could still have her old colleagues come in and her old clients in some cases. Gosh, some of the coolest shows we have are her old clients. Rainn Wilson is the one that jumps out at me, but Rob Corddry was really, really good. And I know there have been others as well. And those were some of my favorites because it was really fun to watch them go down memory lane and hear, how, and maybe me saying this is helping me realize one of the directions that we could take this, which would be to have some more of, I don't want to make it a podcast about Nicole forever, but like maybe for a little bit, have some people on who knew her pretty well, other than me. And people like her clients who knew a different part of her than even I did. Maybe that's a way to go. I don't know. Like I say, figuring it out in real time here. Lindsay Brooke Gallagher, very cool. Hello, Lindsay. I am so sorry I didn't see you in Connecticut. I really thought I would, to the point where, and this is not a joke, for the entire trip, I carried around a pair of Nicole's socks. Bet you didn't know where I was going to go with that. Because, Lindsay, you made a comment about her socks always having the coolest socks, and it was a picture of her with the green plaid socks. And I was going to give those to you. But I didn't see it, so I didn't. They're back here with me now. Great to see you regardless. Scary stuff. I hope everyone made it out okay. Yeah, I think it's still happening. They're still at 1,200 plus acres. That hasn't been updated in a long time, though, so I have a feeling the next time it is, it'll be a big jump. It was like small brush fire, 200 acres, then it was 400 acres, then it was 700 acres, then it was 1,200 acres. So it's happening quickly. My dad was a firefighter, so again, I'm attuned to all of this stuff naturally because, it's what he talked about my whole childhood. But in addition to that, we've got the Newcomb's Ranch situation going on in the background as well. And while it's nowhere near this fire, the conditions that started a fire there are existing up in Angeles Crest right now as well. So kind of feel like I've got my finger on the pulse of it because I'm invested, figuratively and literally. It's a lot. It feels like the future movies where there's disasters. The day after tomorrow. That's what it feels like. Lots of love from the UK, from Liban E. Liban? Liban? Ugh, Nicole would have been laughing. She thought my buffoonery was very funny, and I don't know that everybody does. So I used to lean into it for her, and now I feel like I have to be more careful and curtail it a little bit. Also, don't think this beard is some sort of a statement. It's solely, we're in a limbo position. I don't know that I've shaved since I've been back, so it's a couple weeks of, it's very bushy in here. It's very bushy. I lost weight on the trip, but I don't look like it currently. And I'm not doing it. It's not a Letterman thing. It's just kind of it's all a different color than it used to be, so I'm kind of seeing what it does. I need a haircut in general. Everything's a disaster. My wife used to keep me in order. Now I'm this unwanted bachelor. What am I? Am I a bachelor? I had to have the conversation with my in-laws. Are they still my in-laws? They are still my in-laws. We agreed because Nicole and I never it's like not like we got divorced. So it still doesn't make sense to me though, because I would not say that I'm married still. I would still say my wife. What do you think? I still say my wife. My wife just passed away. My wife recently passed. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one that I don't have very, very many contemporaries to chat about because it happened. We were a little bit younger than this normally happens. What happened to us is incredibly common. It happens to most couples who stay together, but you're generally a senior citizen or a little bit older. Robert Gadocha. Jay, you're doing great, buddy. I'll take it. I don't know if I agree. I'll take it. I will tell you this. I am doing every day. So I don't know that I'm doing great, but shy of, I don't know, like once a week I need a down day of just kind of doing nothing because I'm emotionally just done. So like one day a week I'll do nothing. Kind of like the old days when Sunday, like it was the, whatever, not the Sabbath, but whatever, the day of rest. And shy of that, I have been very, very active lately because I haven't been able to for so long. Came back from the trip, and then I've just been doing stuff left and right. Obviously the holidays, but like lots of car events, going to Malibu again. It's kind of fun. Actually, we'll talk about that. Let me put that on the list. Oh my gosh, look at this. Some of Nicole's. We'll think about whether we want to hit that later or not, too. Oh, man. It's the coolest. It also shows that the cleaning lady has not been into the studio in a long time. Cleaning lady, can you even make that joke anymore? The cleaning lady, the cleaning lady feels like a dated term, like stewardess. Excuse me, stewardess. Oh, my God. Old man. Old man coming through, honk, honk. Here's where I am, an old man. What was I going to write down? Oh, Scott's, that's right. Let's talk about Scott's Malibu, too. And our love for the new Malibu spot, Scott's. It's too much Jay. It's too much Jay, you guys. It's too much me. Does it help that I know it? I don't know if that helps or not. I'm going to turn this camera around so that you can see the TV. I'm going to cut to it sometimes without the sound, but I'm going to put a camera on it. Does that make sense? All right. It's not perfect, but let's see. Hopefully it'll do. I moved the sky cam over. Okay, yeah. All right, so that's all the way across the room, but at least I can check in. Fox LA says Palisades burns 1,200 plus acres, threatens 10,000 homes. Yeah, not good. Not good. Thanks for the compliment, Robert. I really appreciate it. I am trying, man. I'm trying. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and the things that are going on behind the scenes are way bigger than one person. The things I used to do, it was like, oh, I'll just do it myself, and it'll come out whenever. The scale of the things we're working on these days require way more than just me. So things go slower, you know. Uh, why did I bring that up? I don't know. I'm losing my mind. I can't believe it's 5:26. I feel like I've been talking for an hour. You're like, me too. I've said it before, but my condolences on your loss. Thank you, MB67. That is very kind of you. I will say this. I have learned since Nicole passed how much she means to the rest of the world. I think I already knew it a little bit, but I guess my point is my condolences on everyone else's loss, too. Anytime somebody comes up to me to say, so sorry, they generally have like a story or or something they want to tell me, how Nicole affected them in a positive way, or something we did, or something they liked, or why they watched us, and I miss her so stinking much every day. I almost don't want to tell you about it because it's like guaranteed that I'm going to start crying. I really thought that, stupid thing to say, but I really thought that I would be okay by now. I don't know if that's delusional or my dad died when I was 18. I think a lot of you know this, and that was tough. This is a whole different thing. I don't want to say I got over that quicker because that's not the case. But oh my God, look at this. This is what I was talking about with the bulldozers on the news. They literally are gouging. They're just pushing them out of the way. Wow, that is nuts. Here we go. They're trying to be as gentle as they can, but that blade just put huge gashes in the side of those cars. And I don't mean to be laughing. It's not funny. It's a pretty dire situation as you see the fire right behind the truck there. I've just never seen it before. And they have a rig to do it. I guess that's probably used for other things normally, but damn. I think about Nicole every stinking day, and like a lot, like not a little bit. There's still nothing that doesn't remind me of her, whether it's a thing in the apartment or somebody or I can't even describe it. Like the queue on streamers or Apple TV or whatever, like stuff of hers. Or things I bought for her that I knew she wanted to watch, but she didn't get to. And I'll just come across it and I'll be like, ugh. It basically comes up constantly. And then I'll go to an event and I made a post the other day where I talked about this. I figured out a couple tricks for my own self, one of which is listening to a couple sad songs on the way to an event that I know will make me think of her and I know will make me cry. Because then I like ugly cry in the car alone on the way to the thing, so that by the time I'm there, I'm like dry and good. And it's worked pretty well for the most part. Then usually when people come to me with their stuff, I can keep it together. Otherwise, crying all the time. It doesn't last long. But I would say, without exaggeration, I probably cry about 5 times a day. And that's a lot of times to cry in a day if you're not going through something really severe in the moment. How many times do you cry a day? Please comment. Please let us know in the comments. What's the average for our viewers so I can know where I am? Oh God! Once again, All right, let's see. Glad to see you back at it, whatever that looks like. You're doing as good as can be expected. Hang in there, bud. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Car Guy 53 says, episode 538, great Ocho show. Good vibes from Herbie and myself. Oh, thank you. That's very cool. I also think I screwed that up, though. I think this is 584. Because I think that Derek, the last time I was in here in the studio, it was 580. Excuse me, 582. Jesus, this is a disaster. 582. But then the Derek Whittaker Lost episode went up. How awesome was that, by the way? And that was 583. So this is technically 584, which means that I mislabeled it in the thing. We'll have to change that later. So thank you. Thank you for that. Pointing it out. It helps me. 05, yeah. Oh, wow. How did you do that? That totally looks like the front of a Volkswagen. That's really awesome. Remember having your kids, you read like 80085 and it would spell boobs. He's got parentheses 0. Yeah, that's cool. Slash. That's really very, very clever. Very clever. Mitch David Carter. Oh, man, I hope you're feeling better. Hey, man, good to see you. Very interesting comments regarding the podcast mirror. Well, it's a work in progress. But I do feel that way, and I do give that advice to people because it did help me, I think. You know, we all we think we're a certain way. It's kind of like your voice. You know, you think your voice is a certain way till you hear it outside of your head, like in a recording, and then sometimes it's way different. It's kind of the same thing with how you are and how you act. And even though you don't mean things a certain way, it doesn't mean they don't come across a certain way. That was a tough one for me. It was a really tough one for me. It probably still is on an occasion-by-occasion basis because it gets into the old guy thing again, because it's kind of like, well, if I say something and don't mean any malice or harm, why does it matter what I said, like words-wise? And then when I hear that argument out loud, and by the way, in my head, that argument makes sense. But when I hear it out loud, even just right now saying it, I hear my grandfather trying to excuse his use of the N-word. My grandfather wasn't what I consider a racist man. He wasn't. He was in the war and whatever. And I just remember him. He's been dead a long time, so none of this is current, I assure you. But I remember trying to be like, but Pop, nobody says it anymore. He's like, but I'm not saying it's bad. And I was like, but we're saying it's bad. We're saying you saying it is bad. It's just a weird thing because he didn't feel like he was saying anything wrong because at his time it was commonly used. Apparently, I don't want to go down this road. Now it sounds like I'm defending the N-word. I'm not defending the N-word. It's taking an ugly turn. I have been watching stand-up lately. Went back to the Comedy Store. Shout out to Dan Levy and Whitney Cummings, who got me out of the house to do it, which was great. Not to go do stand-up, just to go to the Comedy Store. And it was great. I'm sorry that I didn't even get to see either one of them perform because I got caught up in the hallway with other people, guests from the show, old clients at Nicole's, and ended up just talking to people for hours in the hallway and never even got up to the belly room to see them. So reason I brought all of that up is, Louis C.K. I've been watching a lot of Louis C.K. lately. And I know that he's still controversial in some ways. In the comedy world, he's not. But in the world, I understand why he might be. What I'm taken with, and this is if you can separate the stuff, if you're just looking at the comedy and the man who does comedy, I think he's probably the best stand-up of our generation. And I realize that could be controversial as well. It's like saying Cosby was so great. Except for that one thing. Yeah. I don't know how to talk about this stuff these days. Nicole used to be a great barometer because she would laugh, which would break the tension. I call her a great barometer. She wasn't really, because she would kind of encourage the inappropriate. Again, though, because of all the comedians she worked with, she had seen it all. You kind of have to push the envelope. Rob Cates, welcome back. Maybe in the future you will do shows from Newcomb's or have other podcasters do shows from there. That's not a maybe. That's a definite. We're building a room for it. You're right. I was going to talk about it in a little bit, but let's talk about it. Yeah. Newcomb's has been a lot. If Nicole and Jay were loaded and had all the resources in the world, this would have been a done deal already. But it doesn't work that way. We have a lot of people helping us, and it moves slowly, like I was saying before. So the good news is, like I said, when I got back from the trip, my priority would be to finish up the Newcomb's deal and get the doors open for everybody, our community. And that is my goal. That is what the plan is. What we're going to do with Newcomb's, the goal would be to change it as little as possible. We've changed like the layout of the furniture a little bit inside, not even a lot. And we've added some things that it probably always should have had to be kind of a roadhousey kind of vibe. But the biggest thing that we're doing that people seem to really, really like is the showroom. The fact that we're making the Chileo room into a place where there will be live podcasts, there will be live music, there will be live comedy. It's a really neat space that once we put the stage in the window and kind of turn things around a little bit. People used to do watch parties and viewing parties and rent that space out all the time in the old days. But it was always kind of configured a different way. So we've changed it and opened it up a little bit, and I think it's vastly improved, and I hope that people really, really like it. The goal would be to do the show up there sometimes, if not always, and definitely to have other people do their podcast up there, like Smoking Tire, like Jay Leno's Garage, or whomever it happens to be. Magnus has always toyed with the idea of starting a podcast. If there was a place for him to do it up there where he could talk to people that he likes and respects, I bet he would. We have so many comedians that we know already, both through this show and through Good Vibes and through Nicole, that, goddamn, look at that. It's not good, not okay. Fire. Staffing the room with major talent, I don't think will be difficult. And people love that place. They love it. And I've found that out more in the last 6 months than I ever knew. Since Nicole passed and since sort of the word spread that like we're the ones who are going to be taken over. People are coming out of the woodwork to talk about, the old times they had there or Christmases and Thanksgivings and just in general, what it means to them and how special it is. And that's only the people who feel that way have only grown. So yes, you're right, Rob, that will be happening. Oh, excuse me. Here we go. The beard is very dignified. Thanks, Car Guy 53. It's gray and white. If that's what you mean, I agree. Very dignified. Dan says, it's like Superman. You're doing good, even if you may not be doing well. Oh, weird. See, not being a comic book reader at all my whole life, I have missed a lot of what the world is educated on now. Does that make sense? Like, I don't get that reference, but most people probably do. Patrick Brass, for those of us not in the know, would you share what's happening with Newcomb? Well, I guess I just did that a little bit. Devora Axe hugs. Thanks, Devora. Okay, so that's sort of what's going on with Newcomb's. General store, I think we told you. When you first walk in on the right, that area will be Angeles Crest General Store. Hopefully, the idea would be that it's open at least 6 days a week for the community up there. A lot of people probably don't realize this. While Newcomb's is the only private property on the crest, there are a bunch of other camps and places that exist up there that live up there. From the fine folks, our friends at the Christian camp, Nicole and Brian, to Chileo, the campground in Chileo. There's U.S. Forestry in there. There's the fire department in there. The Caltrans guys. There's a whole camp up there for Caltrans. Anyway, having a resource up there where they could buy milk if they wanted to without having to go all the way to the bottom should be a pretty good thing. For the rest of us, motor oil, windshield washer fluid, air, the things that we need. Borrow a jack. Great. Okay, but buy a soda and a T-shirt, whatever. So that's the plan. Then the bar will become sort of a saloon-y Cheers. The layout will be exactly what it used to be, but we've got those stools and changing things a little bit to make it a little. In the car world, I would say we're backdating it, but we're period correct backdating it. For Porsche fans, in the late 70s, when the impact bumper cars came out, people were converting their long hood cars to short hood cars because it was the newer car. Oh, it made it look like the new one, even though it wasn't necessarily the new one. Later on, people are now taking those forward dated cars and then backdating them to like their correct status, what they should have been. That's kind of what we're doing with Newcombs. The building's 100 years old, but it didn't feel that way because of all of the Formica and the 80s and 90s treatment, stools and chairs and things like that. So we want it to feel like an old roadhouse, like it looks and like it actually is. We want it to be more authentic. So that's sort of the direction we're taking it. I can't wait for everyone to see, because I think it's genuinely good. I think there was a room that where the fireplace is that people used to call the Newcomb's room. It's actually the original structure of the building in there, and we didn't want to change that. So while we changed the layout and put a nice little seating area by the fireplace and moved the pool table over and added these old 100-year-old church pews as banquettes and the jukebox and things like that, the room is treated with stuff from the area. There's the old Newcomb sled that everyone remembers. That's on the wall, and the skis are on the wall, and there's snowshoes and pictures from the region and from the area. We want to celebrate what it is versus change it. And I think a lot of people might have been afraid we were intending to change it, and we're not going to change it. It'll be a better version of what it always was. And I will say this, I say it a lot because it's important to me. We did all of this upside down and backwards. Like, we were working on the place before we even had any signed paperwork. You know what I mean? Like, that's how solid the deal is between the two families. But the reason for that primarily was we didn't know Nicole was going to go as quickly as she did, but it was so that we could put as much of Nicole in that place as we could. Where things are, where tables are, where things are on the wall, stuff like that. She approved all of it. I kind of said, I think it should be here, whatever, but she said yay or nay to everything. Her spirit is very much alive there, and that was always the goal. So, motivations-wise, I can't wait to get the doors open for everybody, because I want to see this dream realized. I want to see her legacy realized. I want to see you all having coffee, sitting in her spot, probably by a black and white picture of her by the bar. That's all very important to me. So there's a lot to do. There's a heck of a lot to do. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but now that I'm back, that's the priority. So, whatever. I'm not going to put a date or a time on it. I'm not. I can't do it, because I can't deal with everybody asking me all the time every Friday, what's the deal? What's the plan? Can't do it. Okay. Comedian Steve Mazon. Oh man. I have been following your travels while I've been traveling, comedian Steve Mazon. You had a great Thanksgiving with our friend Renee Percy. And I feel like, I don't remember if you guys were you abroad? Were you overseas? I don't think it was a cruise. Anyway, I loved seeing you together. Heidi Beatty, sending you love, buddy. Hope you make it out east again soon and we can coordinate. Yes, I'm sorry I didn't see you on the last trip. There are so many people, places, things I didn't see on this grand tour road trip that we should talk a little bit about. I went everywhere. I'm sorry I didn't see you, Heidi. I didn't get to a lot of people. I spent a lot of time in Connecticut, very small state. There's so much shit I didn't do and so many people I didn't see. Telefunken, that was one of the things I was like guaranteed I want to do. Didn't get to do it. That Darien Cars and Coffee for the Cannonball reunion, that was the big deal. Remember, I was trying to get there for that because of the delays with Yellow Car and everything else and the hurricane in Florida. Wasn't able to do it. Didn't make it. Thank God we got Caffeine and Carburetors the very next week. They reached out and we went to that, which was wonderful. Being in my old hometown again. This is confusing, but all the towns are so very close together there. And when my parents divorced, my mom and I moved around a little bit. But while I'm born in Wilton, we also lived in New Canaan a while. It's the bordering town. So being back in New Canaan for this event at this mansion in the town park where I used to ride my bike through when I was a kid, and now we're one of the cars on the grass at the event, like in this really, 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 really fancy car show, was an amazing experience for me. So everything kind of worked out how it was supposed to, but I'm bummed at all the things I didn't get to do. Speaking of Connecticut things, drove the Super Troopers 911 SC from the movie. Who wants a mustache ride? I do. I want one. I do. That was really cool. And so many places I went. We did 13,000 miles. 13,000 miles in 69 days. Which is ridiculous to me that I was gone for 10 weeks. And Yellow Car has now been to 48 of the lower 48 states, which is, again, an incredible thing. Not a goal we ever tried or thought we would accomplish. We never set out for. Can't talk. 48 states, 13,000 miles, 69 days. And I took my time. If you noticed, there were a couple places where I had to kill time because of things I was doing. Went up to see Nicole's parents, and in a small window when we had before the holidays, and it was wonderful. We had a great time together. We all loved being together because being together made us feel closer to Nicole. And while I was there, they said, "Oh, well, if you can come back for Thanksgiving." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know how I do that. I don't know how that would work. It's 2 weeks away. Can't just dilly-dally for 2 weeks." I did. That's exactly what I did. I didn't dilly-dally, but I stuck around, and there was stuff to do. I had an aunt who had a spinal surgery. I helped them for a little bit. I had my friend Danbury Chive from the East Coast feed from the show here. His father had a lung removed, Echoes of Sinatra. Papa Kaz, so I was there to help him convalesce a little bit. It was kind of crazy, the things I was there for. Actually, it was very, very interesting. I felt like at some point, maybe about a third into the trip, I kind of realized that I had been driving around from place to place, sort of helping people with problems they had that only I could help them with and that I wouldn't have been available to help them with previously. Does that make any sense? It's like I was Michael Landon from Highway to Heaven, like trying to get my wings. Again, dated reference. If you're as old as me or older, you'll get that reference. Who's Michael Landon? I feel honored to have met Nicole, you as well, a couple of times at GVBC. Her smile was infectious. And her laugh. MB67, do I know you? What did you drive? I can't put a face or a name with MB67 right now. It's good that you cry, though. I guess. Versus keeping it in, yeah, I guess so, but it's hard. It's hard. None of this is fun. If you can avoid having your spouse die, your spouse that you really, really love a lot, like your partner, your ride or die, if you can avoid it and not have to go through losing them, I highly recommend it. Gunnar Mensch on the Big Island says, "Aloha, buddy. You have made me cry more times than you can imagine. Bless you. Sending you good vibes from Hawaii." Well, I appreciate that, buddy. Speaking of Connecticut and the things I did there, Gunnar Mensch's father, Gunnar Mensch lives in Hawaii, and he is a few years older than me. But he grew up in the town next to mine, I said before, from Wilton. Gunnar was from Ridgefield. His father was a professional photographer, as was mine. His father shot Porsche. And there are some famous old 356 photographs out by a beach with a model and a photographer all in the shot, and really neat, by some Canons. And Gunnar asked me a long time ago if I knew where it was, where those were taken, because he had an idea. He knew it was Westport, but he thought it was someplace else. And I said, no, I know exactly where that is. I said, I've got a picture of me as a kid sitting on one of those Canons. And I said, next time I'm there, I will take pictures for you. And so I went down to Campo Beach in Westport, where these famous pictures from Christophorus magazine and I think the Porsche ads, and I think they were also in the actual old Porsche postcards that the company put out, and got some pictures of Yellow Car over there in the same place, which was pretty cool. And I tried to match the same angles that his, like I tried to stand exactly where his father stood for some of them, and I think I got it right, which was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So shout out to you, Gunnar Mensch. You've always been a very good friend to me, to Nicole, to the show, to Good Vibes. If you remember the 944 Turbo Pink Pig, anybody who came out a couple years ago, that was Gunnar's car. It was Gunnar's car. I think that one stays on the continent, on the mainland, I think. But he's got like 15 or 16 other Porsches out there on the big island of Hawaii. And you've always been a great friend, so I love you, Gunnar. Also, Gunnar was a great friend of our, for Campo Beach Pics. See, there you go. Just told the story. How about that? He was also a mutual friend of Gary Shandling, the great Gary Shandling. Many a Thanksgiving did they spend together out on the big island. Gary Shandling was a great guy, idol of mine. Hi, Jay from You. Oh, I didn't do that right, I bet. You. You. Oh, I hope. Sorry if I butchered that. Lindsay, back to you. I thought we were asked how many times we cry a day, not how many times Jay made us cry. Yeah. Well, what's your answer? How many times a day do you cry? Oh, it's the same. Came through twice. Maybe the Facebook ones are coming through twice. Hope to make it out there one day on a road trip and check out the canyons and Newcombs. That would be awesome, Joe Stewart. Where do you live? You should definitely do that at one point. If you're a car person, if you're a driver, it's like you have to at some point. It's kind of like you got to make the pilgrimage and come drive Angeles Crest. Let's see. Where are we here? It's been almost an hour now. I should cross some of these things off the list. All right, fire show. Here's what's going on with the fire. My gosh. They haven't updated the acreage because it seems like it's just getting worse and worse. So here's the bummer on this situation too. Not only is everything on fire and it's bad, the conditions are worsening. So this actually started when it was starting to get bad, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And all of the projections for the wind, etc., are to get worse throughout the night and into tomorrow, and continue to get worse tomorrow. Higher gusts, etc. With what we're looking at right here over on Fox 5, it's awful already. The next update won't be good. I am so sorry for anyone who is caught up in this right now, and that is a lot of people. A lot of people. I personally know a number of people who live in that area who must not be there now, but I'm sure are concerned for their homes and property and pets, and gosh darn, it's awful. This thing got really big really quickly. It sucks. 5 months without Nicole. Surreal. So surreal. Did I say also that sometimes I forget is not right? I don't forget she's gone. But like energetically I do. Something will happen. Usually something good. Last week I met a comedian that she really liked. His name is Andrew Santino, goes by Cheeto Santino. You probably know him from stuff. He's got one of the biggest podcasts in the country, Whiskey Ginger, and also he does Bad Friends with Bobby Lee. And while Nicole used to do all of the, she used to be a publicist and do personal PR for countless huge comedians that you know, and countless small ones that you know too. When she couldn't do that work anymore and that job anymore, she still would like identify with people and be like, that's somebody to watch. She'd be like, them, keeping an eye on them, even though she wasn't going to do anything with that anymore. She kind of just wanted to see if she still had it. And Byron Bowers was one of those people. We both liked him, and watching his rise has been fantastic. And this guy, Andrew Santino, meeting him the other day, he was wonderfully cool. We spent the better part of a day together doing car stuff. He's a Porsche guy too. And it was very cool for me to get to tell him that everything I just told you, that my wife used to be very impressive and that she thought you were good. And I wished that I could have come home from that day in Malibu and told Nicole that he was cool and that she was right, and that I wish she were there. And fuck, that happens all the time. We didn't used to talk in the car very much, like really at all. Speaking was difficult for her anyway, and then to be heard in the car, just we were sort of nonverbal with our communication for the last few years of her life. That's how well we knew each other. And in the car we wouldn't really talk, but I would like every little bit, whether I had a feeling or just enough time had gone by, I'd look over and we'd meet eyes, and I would just, you okay? You good? Thumbs up. And just a little check-in. And I cannot tell you how often I did that on the trip. It was pretty funny because like it would make me cry every time, and I knew it would make me cry every time, and I would still do it. And I'm driving around the country at 75 miles an hour, and I'd have the urge to do it, and I know I'm going to see an empty seat, and I know I'm going to start crying, but I couldn't help but do it. So I'd look over. You okay? Empty seat. You okay? I don't know what that says about me, but I felt a need to do it. And if I didn't tell you, her ashes were with me for the whole trip. Like, I brought her physical remains with me. I put the wheelchair back in the car. I put the thing back on the mirror. Like, I wanted to feel as much like I was replicating the old trip with her as I could. And again, I don't know what that says about me. It's like torturous. But overall, I'm glad I did it. I feel like while explaining the behavior, it sounds ridiculous, and I acknowledge that. I'm glad I did it. It made me feel good, even though I had to, make me cry. It's hard to explain. It would make me miss her less, not more. Seems counterintuitive. Poland is where he was with Renee Percy, and I think it was Thanksgiving. Car Guy 53. We got to get you and Yellow Car out to the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix sometime. What time of year is it, Car Guy 53? Because this road trip will definitely be an annual thing. At least be an annual thing. We should probably talk about some of those 13,000 miles. I'm the guy who drives up from San Diego. You're not the only one, pal. I don't know what that is. What kind of car? How about that? What kind of car? That'll help. Ryan James, good to see you back at the desk. Oh, thanks, Ryan James. I really appreciate that. I don't know how it feels to be back at the desk. It feels natural to be here. But like I said, I didn't have like a full agenda of what to talk to you about tonight, so to just be kind of bleh feels a little strange, but I appreciate it. Carissa Koch. There he is. There you are. It's nice to see you. This car was donated by Carissa Koch a couple years ago. It's one of those Play Forever cars that you see at the Porsche dealerships. And they come in different colors. And then Pinstripe Chris, the very talented artist Pinstripe Chris, if you're not following him, give him a follow, did a custom paint job on it. So it looks like Yellow Car, which is just incredible. Super, super cool. But every time I see that, I think of you, Carissa. Every single time. Can't not. I'm the guy who drives up from San Diego. I just got a brand new car before Halloween. Z4 M40i manual transmission. Very cool. Congratulations. I'm guessing that's the latest iteration, right? The Supra Z4. Nicole and I had the previous iteration with the hardtop, the robotic hardtop. We loved it, but we had the M Sport one, and they didn't make it in manual. And that was the only downfall for me of that car, that it was DCT. Nothing wrong with the DCT, I wanted a manual. You cry at least once a day? Why, mom stuff? Is it good cry, bad cry? I don't know if mine are good or bad, because like I'm sad, but truthfully, I never am upset at myself for crying. I kind of just let it happen and move on because, well, I guess I'm sensitive and I don't mind being that way myself. But I feel like it's a positive thing for me. I feel like every time I do, even though I don't like doing it, every time I do it, I feel better afterwards. Do. And you were thinking it. And Nicole would be laughing. And, wow, gee whiz. People driving out of the neighborhoods in the fire here. I keep getting distracted by this fire. It's really not good. This is tragic when you see all these homes being burned. Gosh. And perhaps focusing on this tragedy over there makes me not look at my own tragedy. I don't know. Oof. Yikes. Although I can't think it's that, because I'm definitely not happy to see other people suffer. It's not like, you know what I mean? That's another thing I've learned, though, throughout all of this. Everybody who's come up to me to give their condolences about Nicole is also going through something, which lets me know that everybody is indeed going through something. And that's where Be Kind comes in. God damn it, be nice to one another. Help one another when you can. Everybody's going through something. You have no idea why they're acting the way they're acting. I know that in our situation, me and Nicole over here, the last couple of years, we weren't always how we would like to have been with people. And I mean that from like a being nice standpoint. When you're pushed to your limit and you're riding there on that limit all the time, you get short. You're in pain. I mean, there's just so much to it. And I try to think about that now when somebody annoys me at the grocery store or in traffic or whatever it happens to be. I try to remember that, like, you have no idea what the rest of their day has been, Think about how I was before I left for the trip, and I was snapping at everybody. I was in that, like, I called it the anger phase, I guess, maybe, of grieving. I don't know. It was just like everybody wanted to put their 2 cents in, and, like, it seemed like everyone thought I should be better by now or something, and I wasn't, and it was, I don't know, it was just tough for me. I had a hard time, and being on the road was really, really good. I think being alone, staring out at the horizon, the way I'm talking to the camera tonight is probably how I was with my thoughts the whole time, kind of just playing around with things. How do you feel about this? What should this be? And it also made me get up and out every day and do stuff. Like, when you're in a different hotel in a different day, driving 500 miles, whatever the pace is, you got to keep on moving every single day. And And that was good for me. That was good for me. 10 weeks of that on the road was good for me. Came back and couldn't sit still, which was good, because when I left, I didn't really want to leave the apartment. Everything reminded me of Nicole here. I felt most comfortable. I felt closest to her here, and the road trip was good for that. Shout out to Bo Bachman. Bo Bachman is Galpin Motors, basically, and through our friends Apex Dave and Chris De La Garza, who did, oh my gosh, we have to talk about this. I can't believe I didn't talk about it. Who did that beautiful My Porsche Story piece on us, Nicole and me. Through those guys, we got to meet and get to know Bo Bachman, who ended up sponsoring the road trip, most of it. Porsche Santa Clarita and Galpin Motors, wrote a check that helped get me around the country, and I am forever indebted to them for that. It was really, really cool of you guys to support and to want to tell our story in the first place is still pretty amazing to me, because when you look at the company that we're in that series, from Bruce Meyer to Magnus to Matt Farah to the Roofs, Alois Roof, and many more that you haven't seen yet. It's high praise to even be included. So the fact that it even happened at all is amazing to us. We're so grateful. And then the fact that they, helped propel me around the country financially as well was just a huge deal. So I am a big fan of the Galpin family, Galpin Autosports. We used to go to the car show every single year. Highly recommend them if you're needing a car. Good people over at Galpin. Highly recommend. That was not a paid advertisement, by the way. They sponsored the trip. They do not sponsor the podcast. I'm speaking from the heart. And I saw Bo, by the way, on Saturday at Porsche Santa Clarita for their Big Cars and Coffee, which is once a month, first Saturday. And huge freaking event, but it was great to see Bo. And yammering on here. Joe Stewart. Amarillo. Nice. Well, that's not too far. You can get here from there. So glad you're home and back on set. Keep being you. Oh, thanks, Brian Cheney. You're another one of the people that I was like, I'm definitely going to see you on this trip. Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt. And when it came the day to drive to Porsche South Orlando to see you, I was also on the same day supposed to, which is why I was going to Orlando, I was supposed to go to Universal Studios Florida to authenticate their Ghostbusters Ecto car. They have a Ghostbusters Ecto 1 there that, spoiler alert, we were going to authenticate to confirm it was the one that Sean Bishop and I built 15 years ago. And whatever, it was at another location that day. It was off-site being worked on, and I didn't end up getting to go see it. So I didn't end up going to Orlando, so I didn't get to see Brian Cheney. Spoiler alert, it was the car. The car that Sean and I built is can be seen on display at the parade at Universal Studios Florida. Very cool for us, because the two cars that we built were used officially. So that's kind of a neat thing. We really, we're very happy with the outcome. You build a car, you sell a car, you don't really think much about where it goes, but when it goes someplace cool like that, and then it extends the story, it's kind of cool. It's kind of a legacy thing. So anyway, sorry I didn't get to see you, Brian Cheney. Patrick Brass, Santino and Lee together are epic. Yeah, so I watched a little bit of one of the podcasts after spending some time with him, and I agree, it was very good. I also put on the Whiskey Ginger one, which is more one-on-one interviews with Andrew, and it's very good. Great guests. PVGP takes place generally around the end of July each year. Okay, so that's plausible. It's possible. The road trip that Nicole and I took in 2023, we went in June and July, and we went through every state we drove through on the southern portion broke its heat record while we were in it. Heat was her kryptonite at the time. turned out to be the worst possible time to do a road trip. This time I went a little bit later because of the delays, and it was like kind of the perfect time to go because I ended up catching the foliage as I went up the East Coast, and then I was there for the leaves changing, I was there for the leaves falling and the leaves blowing around, all of it. And then it was winter as I came back the north side. So I kind of would maybe do it somewhere in the middle to avoid all the snow, but maybe sometime between. So I don't know if the time would work out on that or not, but it's possible, definitely possible. It's also possible I could come and just do that. It could be an array of things and could be brief. However, letting it out feels like a release, whether it's good or bad. Yeah, I relate. I very, very relate to that. I very, very relate to that. Is that what I just said? You gave Nicole the strength and encouragement to inspire you to do this and honor her like you are doing. The trip and everything you do. Stay strong. Oh, very kind. Joe Stewart, that was a great video they put together about you two. I couldn't agree more. So grateful for all of it. Again, I already told you, like, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. The bummer of it is that Nicole never really got to see it. They sent it when I put up, when it was clear that it was near the end, I put up a, prayers for Nicole thing, and they sent an unfinished edit that we played in the room for her that I hope she got to hear. But she never got to see it, which bums me out. Or maybe she knew. She already knew. I don't know. Nicole was kind of magic like that. She was sort of new stuff. Yes. Agree. Donna, we're going to do a whole nother thing about the Stiglet. We'll try to get him in here, and we'll do a show with the Stiglet at some point. But please follow the Stiglet, everybody. He is... I can't even tell you, like, he's climbing the charts, as they say. Every racing series he enters, he just seems to dominate. He's a phenom. And this year he's running a 111 car officially, and he's got Nicole Ryan's name on the roof for she's riding right seat. And it's a beautiful tribute. It would be nice for anyone to do. But the fact that he's doing it and winning and climbing and starting his career, with this little thing at the same time, I feel like it compounds all of the story to just be this bigger, more beautiful thing. And I'm grateful to the entire Stiglet family for being a part of that. So, all right, I got to think about wrapping it up here because I'm getting hoarse and I feel like, all right, road trip. We'll do a whole episode on the road trip where I'll go through, we'll go through the pictures and the videos and stuff and all that stuff. Yellow car has been running great thanks to TLG. They got us buttoned up. Remember the coolant bottle, 20-year-old coolant bottle cracked right before we left. They got that fixed up and we were on our way. And the car was great the whole time, which is wonderful. Hang on one second. Be right back. It's awkward. I know. It's very awkward. Is there anything I could play for you in the meantime? Here, watch that.
I suffer from anxiety and depression. How do those two energies go together? Like, ah! I'm afraid of the future.
I regret the past.
How did this happen?
I blame myself.
I need to face my fear.
I gotta lay down.
And a nice promo for Adam Ferrara, who is also awesome. All right, let's see. Before I do anything, let's go live on Instagram Live. Let's see if we can do this. I don't remember how to do this. There we go. Do I push this? Here, let's see. Whoop. Oh, yeah, do it. Allow. Go ahead, just do it. Whoa, jeez. What if I don't want you to see that? Who knows what's on there? Just kidding. I'm doing it wrong, though. How do I do it? Anybody remember how to do this? They've changed the app since I was doing this last. How the hell do you... Oh. Oh, there we go. Wow, just do it. Wow. Sorry about this. Talk about a slow. Is this working? There we go. Maybe. There we go. Are we? Are we actually? Let's see. So, how many miles on the clock of Yellow Car? That is a great question, Patrick Brass. So, just past, are you ready for this? 142,000 miles, which is amazing to me because we bought it with 30. So, 110 of those are ours, which is pretty wild. Hello, Instagram. Hello, you're here at the desk. We're live. And the fires are a big thing in LA, so I hope everyone who is local is safe. How's everybody doing? Should have brought my glasses for this. There we go. A little better. 9/11 Journey. Hello, everybody. Hello. Wow, there's a lot of people here. This is wild. Wild, wild, wild. We were just kind of catching everybody up on, what's been going on. And, wow, there's a lot of people here. I got to wave at them all. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. We've been talking about Nicole. We've been talking about Newcombs. We've been talking about the road trip, Yellow Car. What's next with this damn show? These are all the things that you can check out on the YouTube when we're done with this. We also talked about how many times you cry a day. What's the right amount? Hey, Jay. Hey, Calamarzo. We had a good talk the other day at Santa Clarita, Porsche Santa Clarita. That was fun. Fun hanging out with you. So basically, the gist of this is to figure out what the heck the show should be in the future. And we're hoping that you on Instagram can help us with that and give us some ideas because, without Nicole here, what the hell, What the hell? What's the point? So, good seeing you, bro. Good seeing you, bro. Waves crash, cry purge, and keep living. Yeah, good advice. Man, we have really got a great community. The way you've all shown up for me and Nicole when she was around, and the way I watch you with each other too, the way everybody shows up for one another is really, really impressive. All good vibes. Okay, all right, it's probably time to wrap this thing up. I don't know what it was in the first place, but I'm glad I did it. At least we're back out there. At least we're back out there doing shows, figuring things out. Watch Castaway. Yeah, I love Castaway. Yeah, I know. I do. We already went over this. I need a haircut. The hair is ridiculous. I know. The beard too. We talked about it. We talked about it on the show. All right. So check out. It's on. It'll be on YouTube. Check it out on YouTube. All right. Thanks, everybody. Love you. Please love one another. How do you get out of alive? No, I don't know how to stop alive. All right. Hilarious. All right. So then we did that. Ugh. There's too many buttons. I think that's going to work, though, once we figure that out. That's way better having it up there that I can put it over there. And it's way better for me. We caught up? I think we're caught up. I think. Except now I've got text on my phone here. All right. Maps. Oh my gosh. This is atrocious. Them drivers abandoned cars in Palisades, fire evacuated, and it's just the bulldozers. Good Lord. All right. Nicole Memorial. Let's talk about that real quick. Nicole's wishes were to have to be cremated and to have a memorial later after the fact. She didn't want a funeral. She didn't want the pomp and circumstance of all of that, and I understand. I knew my wife. I understood her. I get it. But she did want to have a memorial later when people were a little less raw, and she wanted that memorial to take place up at Newcomb's. What it will look like remains to be seen. Who will be involved, how it will be, TBD, across the board. When? Right now, we're trying to coordinate with all of her family so that they can come out for the same thing. Right now, the idea would be the end of May. To do it at Newcomb's, obviously, is its own thing. That would mean we would need to have all of that ready by May. So there are a lot of facets at play here. But to all the people who have asked, to all the people who care, yes, there definitely will be a memorial for Nicole Shabbat Ryan. And it will be at Newcomb's, and it will probably be the end of May 2025. And if it's not, it'll be like early June or something like that, but it'll probably be the end of May. And will it be public or not? We're working on that. My desire would be to make it very public for all of you who are also grieving the loss. The problem becomes it's at Newcomb's. It's not at the Great Western Forum where there's tons of parking and you can have 1,000 people. So we're trying to figure that out. Good vibes these days on a big holiday weekend. People are parked up and down the road a half mile in each direction, let alone the parking lot is jammed full. So I don't know. We're figuring it out. There's a very good likelihood there may be two. There may be, a small family thing and then a big thing at Good Vibes or something. I don't know. We're figuring it out. So stay tuned. When it's closer, obviously, we will let everybody know. I hate that I have to do that. It is what it is. All right. What's next with this show? I don't know. I think the next one we do, we should have a guest in here. I want to do a recap of the Grand Tour, maybe with somebody else to help me go through these. Me sitting here alone, just talking to you. As long as there's comments to react to and everything, it's great. But if it's just me, bleh, too much, no good. So I think maybe we'll try a guest next. And we've changed, you can see we've moved things around microphones wise and whatever. So it should be a little better, a little different, and a little more comfortable. All right, back to the fire over here. We have jumped to 2,900 plus acres from the 1,200 that I reported last. That is quite a jump. Shout out to everyone in Los Angeles who is affected by this. I can't imagine there really is anybody who's not going to be impacted in some way. So just fellow Angelinos, we love you, and stay safe. And if there's anybody out there who lives there who doesn't have a place to stay, give me a shout. If I know you, give me a shout. I'll make room for you. We'll figure it out. What's going on is not okay, so we all got to pull together. That's my feelings on it. That's what Nicole would have wanted as well. That's one of my favorite parts, by the way, about that We Are Porsche video is, spoiler alert, you do get to see Nicole in it at the end, which is very, very awesome. And her takeaway for Good Vibes and what it all is, it gives everybody a chance to get back to one another, and that's what it's all about. And that's what she was all about at the end. And it's what I intend to be all about. So I think it's probably just appropriate to say that I love you. Please love one another. I don't know when we'll be back here. I don't think it'll be Thursday, but it could be next week. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to you for watching, for being there, for supporting us, and making us feel like we're part of your life. That's really cool because you're part of ours. So I still say ours. Mine. Still say we and ours a lot. And it's a habit I got to work on. All right. I love everybody. Please love one another. And we'll see you out there.